It's time to end the protestations of some individuals who enjoy poo-pawing Valentine's Day as they claim that it is merely a holiday that was created by Hallmark. First off, this just isn't true. And second of all, Valentine's Day is a celebration that is much needed in the Northern Hemisphere because it falls during the month of February. And February is a notoriously difficult month during the year in the Northern Hemisphere. So first, let's just go over the basics. Saint Valentine was a 3rd century Roman clergyman who would minister to prosecuted Christians. He was found to be doing this, martyred, and buried on February 14th. Saint Valentine is honored on February 14th in Western Christian traditions, while in the Orthodox Church, Saint Valentine is commemorated on July 6th. Now, it wasn't until the Middle Ages that Saint Valentine's Day began to be associated with courtly love. If there's anyone you want to cast blame on for the so-called creation of Valentine's Day, then it may just be the English writer Geoffrey Chaucer, who lived during the 14th century, so a long time before Hallmark. Geoffrey Chaucer wrote of St. Valentine's Day being a day where people would look for their mate. Now, one of the reasons that February 14th would become associated with love is that it is around February 14th that people would be able to observe birds looking for their mate in the English countryside. And it also may be around the time where you may see birds even preparing nests. So it was because of this that that time became associated with love. In the beginning, this association with love and St. Valentine's Day seemed to be something that existed more within the courtly class, but by the mid-17th century, it was widely popular. By the mid-18th century, there began the tradition of children valentining, and this would have children going to the doors of more wealthy neighbors and asking for a valentine in the form of some food or some money. It's important to remember that February would be a time when food would still be quite sparse, and that this demonstrates that Valentine's Day, at one point at least, was something that was also associated with showing love and care for your neighbor. Also during the mid-18th century is when the custom of giving written valentines began. This tradition really gained in popularity for a long time until around 1914, when there is an observable and quite a big decline in the sending of a written valentine. Now, this may be because just a little bit before 1914, there began to be a rise in valentines being sent that would be insulting, snark-ridden, rude, and of course then there were some of the more naughty ones that were being sent. But it may be that there was a distaste that grew for the written valentine, as you could open one up and be rudely insulted when you read the message. This kind of reminds me of our current time, when there's definitely an element of individuals who like to put down Valentine's Day and maybe write rude Valentine cards or send ones that are filled with snark. But perhaps it would be nice to remember that Valentine's Day is very much a time for helping people feel good during a month where it can be difficult to do so, and that perhaps it's a good time to put a pause on the snark and the rude sentiments. So while there was this decline in Valentine's Day around 1914, it's not a day that could be defeated, and around 1950, in the 1950s, it really just blossomed into popularity again and became very much what we think of as Valentine's now, with the cards and the candy and flowers, and it being associated with romantic love. I think in the past few years, 10 years or so, so Valentine's Day has gone through a bit of a transition again, where we have really opened up what Valentine's Day can mean and that it is associated with love in general. So we also think about our friends and all the beings in our life who we love and who love us. So I'd like to invite you to really think about what Valentine's Day means for you and maybe how you can re-embrace it. See it as a winter festival that is needed for helping to lift people up, to help them feel good, to know that they're supported and to know that they are loved, and for you to also feel that support and to also feel that love. It's not something that's just for being a commercial sort of holiday. No, it's much deeper than that, and there's a reason why it has persisted for this long. Thanks so much for spending time with Gently Being.